What's going on, guys? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Look who I've got here. I've got Salman Mir in the house. You know, he's here. We're gonna chop it up. Salman, Canelo Saul Alvarez, really ripped into Golovkin in the press conference today. Canelo Alvarez said that, Golovkin, he basically said Golovkin is he goes basically Golovkin's a fake. He said, I'm going to knock him out. And he's an arse, you know what? So, Salman, Canelo's not happy. He's not happy with Gennady Golovkin. He thinks that Golovkin has... Golovkin talks behind his back. When he meets him face to face, he's all cool. But when he gets behind his back, he talks a lot of smack. He's obviously not happy. Salman, what did you make of the press conference?
I think obviously Canelo, he was just speaking his mind, to be honest. I don't think he was... I think obviously Golovkin, probably in other interviews, has probably said, mean things and, things that Canelo doesn't like. But I think Canelo's a sort of a person where, if you talk smack about him, he wants to hear that, in person. He wants Golovkin to have that same energy. And it comes across that, Golovkin doesn't really have that same energy and he's, being very friendly with Canelo. But Canelo, said that he's a two-faced guy. He says something behind my back, but when I'm in front of him, he says I'm a great fighter, this, that, the other. But I just think Canelo's obviously, at the stage now, he's obviously wants to end this chapter. He wants to end this chapter with Triple G once and for all, once and proper. And I think he's in the prime of his life now. And he's gonna. I believe him. I think Canelo will go for the knockout. And I think Canelo's filled out a lot more, and he's probably a lot bigger now, compared to before. And I think he's looking to put on a statement. He's looking to put on a statement. He's not happy with Golovkin at all.
But Salman, Golovkin ain't messing around. Golovkin came back and said if it's personal, that's with him. But Golovkin is looking to do some damage as well. He might not be saying it, but he's looking to do some serious damage. Because he feels he's been hard done by twice. He feels he's been robbed twice. So he feels that I'm going to get this guy. I'm going to teach him a lesson this time. And could we get a situation, Salman, where it's Marquez, Pacquiao all over? Where Pacquiao got a lot of the decisions and a lot of people thought Marquez won. And then Marquez got that clinical knockout in that last fight. Do you think we may get that with Golovkin and Canelo?
I don't think so, to be honest.
Not many people thought that in the Pacquiao Marquez fight either. Marquez put him to sleep.
Yeah, it would be. I would be a lot more shocked if Canelo was to get put to sleep like that, because Canelo doesn't really fight like Manny Pacquiao. You see, Manny Pacquiao is very reckless, and I could see why he got knocked out cold like that, because he's reckless with his shots. Whereas Canelo, you probably don't see Canelo getting. I can't see him walking into a shot like how it's different styles. Styles make fights. And
but anyone can get caught with a punch then get put out.
Yeah, probably, but it's the likelihood of that where someone's going to get put to sleep. I can't see anyone getting put to sleep. If anything, obviously, it's probably more on Golovkin's side where, he's obviously a lot more older. He's 40 years old. Is he going to be able to, when Canelo starts hitting him with hellacious body shots, and starts teeing off on him, how's he going to hold up? Is Golovkin, look, the thing is with this fight, I need to see what's going to happen to make a prediction, because it's like one of those fights where I've never really seen Golovkin hurt, and I've never really seen Canelo that badly hurt, to be honest. So I would have to see Golovkin hurt to believe it, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But in my opinion, for Golovkin to win this fight, he will have to throw caution to the wind early on and try land haymakers on Canelo, because he can't get into a boxing match, because I don't think he has those same, he has those attributes, but not to the same standard as he probably did 5-6 years ago. So I personally think Golovkin will have to start fast and try to take him out, to be honest, to win this fight. I don't think it'll be, if he tries, to, fight how he did probably in the last two, he'll probably get outpointed. But I don't think Canelo's going to go for. I think Canelo's going to look to take him out, to be honest, this time around. Because you can see that Canelo's obviously, he's riled up. He's looking for a big, juicy knockout here. And if he sees him hurt, you never know. But it could make for a thriller. Could make for a thriller.
Is there more pressure on him now that he's lost to Bivol, Canelo Alvarez?
Yeah, because
1 second. Do you keep talking? I'm just gonna
if
keep talking.
If Canelo loses his fight, right, it's the end of his career, and he can't really afford, to lose at this stage. Triple G, obviously, is 40-year-old now, so he's obviously more in a situation where people expect him to lose. Whereas Canelo, he's obviously in a position where, people believe he's in the prime of his life. So I think Canelo obviously has more to lose than Golovkin, in my opinion. Because if Canelo loses his fight, as I said, his career's done. It's over. It's over for him. And I just don't think... I don't know where he goes if he was to lose this fight, because then he would have lost 2 fights on the bounce. And... yeah, I think all the pressure's on Canelo really, because if Golovkin loses his fight, it will probably be his last fight. It will probably be his last fight. If he does lose it, I can't see him continuing.
If Canelo loses,
no. If Golovkin loses, I can't see him continuing. But Canelo's still young, so can he really afford to lose at this point? Probably not. Probably not. He can't afford now to lose, because if he wants that Bivol rematch to avenge that loss, then he can't afford to lose to Triple G, or that's curtains on that then. Do you know what I mean? So Canelo has to win this fight. There's no... all the pressure's on him now. Let's see if he can deliver.
Salman, I've had a debate with somebody. What's a bigger fight? What's going to do bigger pay-per-view numbers? Canelo v Golovkin 3 or Spence v Crawford?
One fight's obviously a fight everyone wants to see that's not happened. So you've obviously got to take that into consideration. They're both about, I would say, I think obviously Spence is probably a bit more popular than Crawford. More known, more bigger, probably does more numbers. Canelo's obviously a massive star, but they've already fought twice. So will the pay-per-view numbers do as good as what it did the first and second time? I don't think so. Will they do good pay-per-view numbers? Yes, they will. Will it do bigger pay-per-view numbers than Errol Spence, Terence Crawford? At this point, for me, it's quite tough, because I don't know, because in terms of what would the public rather see, a fight that's not happened against 2 undefeated guys, or a fight that's happening for the 3rd time? I don't know. Although,
what do you think? What do you think?
In terms of popularity, yeah, Canelo and obviously Golovkin.
What do you think does bigger pay-per-view numbers?
And plus, they're fighting on DAZN as well. It's going to be DAZN.
You have to pick one. What? Who does bigger pay-per-view numbers? Spence or Crawford, or Golovkin or Canelo 3?
I'm going to go Spence Crawford, because I personally think that the DAZN platform, I don't think anyone watches DAZN. And if it was
Salman, how can you say that Spence and Crawford does bigger pay-per-view numbers than Canelo Golovkin? Spence and Crawford have 700,000 followers on Instagram. They're not known. They're not stars. They're not known, but they're not known like that. Spence's highest pay-per-view numbers are 300,000. Canelo fought Plant and did 800,000. You can't be telling me that Spence and Crawford does bigger numbers. Explain yourself.
I just personally think because, you know, they've already fought before.
No, but that's irrelevant about whether they fought before.
I don't think everyone will tune in. The ones that did for the first and second fight, unless they're proper hardcore.
So how many numbers do you think Golovkin how many numbers do you think Canelo and Golovkin does? 3 this time.
How many did it do the first and second time?
I think it did over 1 million.
So I reckon it would do half that.
You're saying it does 500,000?
I think 500,000, yeah.
Stop it, lad. 500,000?
I think so, on the zone, pay-per-view.
Bivol fight did 600,000.
No, but, you know, a lot of people come out with different numbers. So I've heard 150 to 200.
No. You're listening to Leonard. That guy is talking nonsense. Salman, there's no way that Canelo and Golovkin is doing 500,000 pay-per-view. You're off your Swede.
I don't know, but I don't think it's as big as what it, you know. I think the first time a lot of people tuned in that weren't even boxing fans. I don't think it's going to happen.
So why isn't it going to happen this time?
Because they're fighting for the third time, and it's already happened twice. So, you know, the first time it was like...
So, Salman, can I ask you a question? Did Pacquiao Marquez fourth time, was it bigger than what it was the fights times before?
Well, I don't know what the pay-per-view numbers were.
It was bigger. I'm sure it was bigger.
I'm not, as I said, I don't know what their pay-per-view numbers is, but I don't think this fight will... Canelo versus Golovkin 1 won't compare to Canelo Golovkin 3 in terms of...
You're saying that Canelo Golovkin 3 does 500,000 pay-per... You're off your Swede, lad. You're off your head if you think it does 500,000 pay-per-view buys. No chance.
How many do you think it does? You think it does?
I think it does 900. I think it does 700 to 1 million pay-per-view buys.
How many did it do the first time though? That's the only.
I think it did 1.2 million. I think.
Yeah, I don't think them fighting twice and this being the third fight, they're going to do it anywhere close to that. To be honest.
But so okay, what do you think Spence and Crawford do then? Bearing in mind
600-700, maybe 800.
Oh. Spence and Crawford. Wilder Fury did 700,000 pay-per-view buys. How is Spence and Crawford going to do 700,000? Nobody knows them. Wilder and Fury, everyone knows them. How is Spence and Crawford going to do 800,000 pay-per-view? You tell me in what world Spence and Crawford, they're not known.
Which Wilder Fury fight are you on about? Number 3 did 700,000.
Yeah. The first one did 300,000, and they're heavyweights. Charisma, everything. They've got everything.
Yeah, but probably at that point, when they did 300,000, they weren't as known as what they were this, you know, the second and third time.
Yeah, but whatever. The highest pay-per-view...
I think the second time must have hit over 1 million.
No. I think a second or third time did 700,000 pay-per-view.
I'm pretty sure the second one must have been...
But
then they had got massive at that point.
But beside the point, Spence and Crawford aren't known like that.
How much did Spence do with Mikey Garcia?
300,000, 340, something, 330,000, something like that.
So I think Spence and Crawford will do better than that. Because I just think it's a mega fight. It's like a fight where it's against...
Mega fight that only goes out to the hardcore fans, not to the casuals.
Probably. But
think about it.
Good numbers though. Yeah. I think it'll be on Showtime pay-per-view.
It doesn't do more than 500,000 pay-per-view buys. 450.
I'll have to see, but I think Showtime, the way they, you know, I think they'll get a decent amount of
So, Salman, when you say that, okay, like, when you say that, right, Spence hasn't got a history of doing great pay-per-view. He does, highest is just over 300,000. Crawford, highest pay-per-view number is 150,000, probably with Khan, you know. So... what's their history? They got no history of doing anything.
I just think both of them coming together, you know, I just don't think thus far they've probably had, you know, an opponent like each other that would, you know, I think this is like being on a collision course.
Salman, Canelo fought Liam Smith and he did 500,000 pay-per-view buys. You can't make excuses. If you're a star, you're a star. You know, they're not big stars. Nobody knows them. They're only known in the hardcore boxing world. You know, the point is, Salman, you can't be telling me that Spence and Crawford do bigger pay-per-view buys than Canelo and Golovkin. It's absurd. You've got to be insane. You've got to be insane. There's no way Spence and Crawford do bigger numbers than Canelo and Golovkin. I don't see how. How? You tell me how. Tell me how. Like,
I'm only speaking from my perspective. What, like, for example, obviously I watch boxing. Like, if you ask me what I would rather see, Spence or Crawford or Golovkin or Canelo,
I'd rather watch Spence and Crawford as well. But the fact is, I'm asking who does bigger pay-per-view numbers. And the bigger pay-per-view numbers come from people that buy it are also casuals. Guys that don't really watch the sport that much.
But you got to take into consideration that Canelo and Golovkin are fighting on an app that no one watches.
But who said that?
I just don't think DAZN is that out there compared to like a Showtime, compared to ESPN.
So why did Anthony Joshua and Canelo, who are the two biggest stars in the sport, sign to them?
I don't know about that, but I personally think Canelo Plant was a lot more of a bigger event.
Is Canelo a bigger star than Spence and Crawford?
Yes.
Is Anthony Joshua a bigger star than Spence and Crawford?
Yes.
So the point is that why would they sign with DAZN if they're an app and they're no good? Why would they're way bigger stars than Spence and Crawford? So the point I'm trying to make is, why would they sign with DAZN if it's just an app? Because at the end of the day, if they're not getting viewership, that's not good for them, is it?
Personally, if I'm going to be honest to you, I think Anthony Joshua and Canelo would probably make more money on Showtime pay-per-view than they would on DAZN, in my opinion. Because I just think more people watch Showtime and ESPN, so they'll generate more money. There's more viewers. It's more out there that this is on pay-per-view with DAZN. How many people actually know that Canelo Golovkin is on pay-per-view? People don't even have the DAZN app on their phone. It's an app at the end of the day. It's not an ESPN. It's not a Showtime.
Salman, you do know that DAZN are a multi-million pound company, and they will be promoting the crap out of that fight. You can't tell me that they've got social media platforms that will be promoting they've got teams like working and promoting the crap out of that fight. When you say that they're an app, Canelo Alvarez is a massive star. Automatically, people are going to jump on and get onto that app. So it doesn't make sense. You can't say, well, they're on Showtime. That's a bigger platform. That's irrelevant. Because people don't watch broadcasters. They watch the fighters. The fighters are what... Otherwise, Showtime want Canelo on their platform. Why? Because they know that he'll get viewership. It's the fighters that are important, not the app, not the broadcaster. The broadcaster's irrelevant because we want to see the fighter. We don't care what channel Canelo fights on. We want to see Canelo fight. You know, we couldn't care less about what app he fights on or what broadcaster he fights with. That's wherever Canelo goes, the viewership is going to go that way. So my point stands. Spence and Crawford don't do that. Look, man, Spence and Crawford don't move the needle like that. Their net worth tells us that. Their pay-per-view numbers tell us that. You know, and even if you put them together, they're not that big a fight. It doesn't do more than 500,000 pay-per-view buys, Salman. I'm sorry. Canelo Golovkin does way more than 500,000 pay-per-view buys.
I'll have to wait and see, I guess. You know, we'll just have to see what the numbers are, but I know for sure that, you know, the numbers that, you know, that they had for the first and second fight, I don't think it's going to be close to those, to be honest, for Canelo versus Golovkin, in my opinion, anyways. In my opinion, I can't see them doing the same numbers as they did before. I personally think, from my experience of watching DAZN, Showtime and ESPN, I don't think DAZN are that out there compared to Showtime, and the production and everything is a lot better with ESPN and with Showtime. And I just don't feel, you know, maybe when they fought before, I believe Canelo he'd probably be a bigger star if he was on Showtime than if he was on DAZN. In my opinion, you say the production doesn't matter, watch what company with he goes. I just think he'd do bigger numbers and probably make more money on Showtime But you disagree. You just think he'd make money anywhere.
Yeah, because I think the fighter is the one that moves the needle. I believe the fighter is the one that people watch. Like, who cares what platform Canelo fights on? DAZN's production's pretty good. What's wrong with DAZN's production?
I don't know, but Leonard Ellaby's obviously said that,
Leonard Ellaby is Leonard Ellaby. You know what I mean?
No, but I do agree with him. I think that, Canelo's viewership and, the pay-per-view has gone down with DAZN compared to when he fought Plant.
How do we know that?
But that's what I'm trying to say. Unless there's official statistics of what the Bivol and Canelo pay-per-view numbers did, people can, like, some people are saying 200, some people are saying 500, some people are saying 1 million. So we don't really know. There's no official numbers. So until we get official numbers on what the thing is, this is how I look at it. If it actually did that good, I think Eddie Hearn would come out and say how much he actually did. I have not heard him say what the numbers were. What they actually did. If it was that good, he would come out and say that, oh yeah, like how Joshua and Klitschko did good. He came out and said, oh, we did 1.2 million, was it? So I don't think they must have done that great on the pay-per-view. Plus, Bivol was probably a guy people thought Canelo was going to walk over. So maybe that was probably the reason as well, that it might have not done that good. But if you look at it in the history, right, the biggest pay-per-views have been on probably ESPN and Showtime. Those are the two biggest platforms in America, right? So I think that does matter to some extent. Like, yes, obviously the fighter brings, the fighter is what,
we watch.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I think, yeah, it probably does have a little bit of an impact, on where the fight. It's like Joshua now signing to DAZN. It's like the job Sky Sports have done with Joshua. They've done an amazing job, and he's become a star. They made him into a star. Now, is DAZN going to be able to make, is Joshua going to have the same viewership on DAZN than he did on Sky Sports? I don't think so. I think Joshua was a guy that was born on Sky Sports. And I think he should have potentially finished his career on Sky Sports. He's obviously gone to DAZN. I don't think Joshua will do as well on DAZN as he did on Sky Sports. I just don't think so. And it's got nothing to do with him losing. I just think he was a Sky Sports guy. Everyone knows him for, being built up by Sky Sports. I think that will have a bit of an impact, to be honest. Will have a bit of an impact. It's like Fury with BT. It's like, he's a BT fighter. He's like, he's their guy. And it's like Joshua was Sky Sports guy, but now he's gone to DAZN. So we'll just have to wait and see. But
leave your thoughts, guys, in the comments section below. Let us know what you think. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.